Hi everyone, this is Middle Ages Gaming and I hope you're all doing okay. This channel is about finding the fun in today's mostly cynical gaming environment in new or older titles, and this is one I can definitely add to the list of worthy of your time. The heyday of adventure games was the mid-80s to 90s. They are essentially puzzle games, and depending on the direction, these games involve a lot of random exploring and clicking around trying to solve a problem. My first fond memories of adventure games were the Space Quest series of this era, which sets the gold standard for these types of games in my view. The story was absorbing and above all, side-splittingly funny. The visuals were excellent even with the limited technology available, and the puzzles were truly ingenious. Take for instance Roger Wilco, the bumbling janitor protagonist, having to cross a murderous crab-infested swamp. The solution to this problem was to pick some berries and lather its juices all over your body. This putrid smell would keep the crabs at bay as you crossed the swamp, or in another instance, Roger trying to get past a robot sentry. Solution: find a bucket, some paper and lighter, light the paper in the bucket, and with that the sprinkler system shorts the robot, removing the threat. This recipe of great visuals, humorous storytelling and clever puzzles are the essentials for a great adventure experience. The exploring and experimenting were captivating until you could not find the solution by these means, and the frustration would mount as you were essentially stuck. It has been a long time since I played this sort of adventure game. This brings us to Grim Fandango, first released in 1998, developed and published by LucasArts, with pre-rendered backgrounds and 3D characters and objects. Although the original was critically acclaimed, it was a commercial failure and coincided with the demise of adventure games. It is often discussed among the greatest games of all time, and a remastered edition released in 2015 on PC after Double Fine Studios acquired the licensing rights, facilitated by Sony. The setting finds you in the land of the dead. You are Manny Calavera, a salesman in this afterlife. You sell voyages by train, ship or other means to get the recently deceased to their final resting place. This is if they have the credit, earned by essentially having been a good person in life. All your recent customers have not been of upstanding quality. Through some conniving to find some better clientele, you stumble upon a recently deceased woman with an excellent background, but somehow the system will not allow her good passage to her destination. She sets off on this dangerous journey alone and on foot. You discover some sinister manipulation of the system, and with that the chase to find her and unravel the organization's plans and who is behind it begins. The game fully supports a gamepad, but I preferred using my keyboard and mouse, with the remastered edition supporting point and click. The puzzles are excellent. Take a puzzle where you have to retrieve some pigeon eggs. There are various steps required to acquire the items necessary to complete this puzzle. A balloon in the shape of Robert Frost and some bread. You try scare off the pigeons with a Robert Frost shaped balloon that doesn't quite work. Then you place the balloon in a dish, add some breadcrumbs and wait for the birds to come feed on the crumbs. Eventually the pecking will burst the balloon and scare off the pigeons, leaving you free to collect some eggs. It is still a little buggy, so make sure to save often at key points, as you will not know when a reload might be necessary. At one point I exited the car, and when I tried to re-enter, the game froze. I had to force quit and replay a section. At another point I had to interact with a character and show him a note. The correct dialogue would not trigger until I moved the cursor to just the right position over the character. The control can also be clunky. I had to try several times to maneuver a forklift in just the right position with just the right timing, but fortunately this only happens seldom. The game suffers from clear direction, and I did not always know what my objectives were and what I should be doing next. This is a fatal flaw because the puzzles themselves can be difficult enough to solve, but not knowing what you should be doing in the first place makes for a lot of meaningless running around. With the game broken into 4 acts or years, the second year area was especially dense and made progress even more challenging. I was forced to use walkthrough guides for direction, and this spoiled the satisfaction of coming up with the answers myself. It was extremely satisfying when I realized at the end of the game though, that your demon chauffeur is literally a speed demon. The lack of guidance also spoils the gameplay, and it is left to the story to carry the game as an experience. The story and dialogue are superb from beginning to end, with the quality never wavering, to the extent that you really believe these characters are real, regardless of the otherworldly setting. Making up your own poem in one scene is something else, and it was hilarious. The dialogue and story are where the game really comes into its own. Combined with the setting, visuals, excellent puzzles, and characters, one can understand the discussion around one of the best games of all time. With oodles of charm, it has all the ingredients that makes for a superb adventure game. Outstanding visual style, humorous storytelling, and clever puzzles, but suffers from the same weaknesses inherent in adventure games. The lack of direction and solving objectives breaks the flow and leads to frustration. Some games might need this superficial padding for lack of content, but Grim Fandango does not suffer for content. Despite all this, it is a masterpiece, and you will not soon forget Manny Calavera and the magnificent cast of supporting characters. My playthrough took about 9 hours with the help of walkthroughs. I hope this overview will be helpful for some of you. My aim is to find the fun in gaming with the little free time we all have, and hopefully this channel will help you decide which titles might be worthy of your time and give an idea how much time a title might require of you. I tried to keep the overview short but with enough substance to help you make decisions. Feel free to share some of your gaming adventures in the comments below for me to explore. Until next time, stay safe and live free.
Next beach I see, I'm finding me a watch. Would a metal detector help the cause?
Hey, just like downtown. You never know what this'll turn up. An engraved ring, a belt buckle with somebody's name on it.
Who would wear a belt buckle with the...